Mount Tabor is the place where Christ is transfigured. And in that transfiguration, Christ is seen as Peter, James, and John had always seen him, but also, seeing him in his revealed light. If you can teach a child what is eternal, if you can get them to discern and to taste eternity, to get a glimpse of it, then you've done everything for them, because from that point on, they're going to be able to now go through life and not just avoid what's bad, but give thanks for what is good.
We're a classical Christian school in the Orthodox tradition. Classical education tends to be defined by emphasis on classical languages like Latin and Greek. It's defined by reading the classics, the great books. It's defined by the liberal arts, the traditional language arts of grammar, logic, and rhetoric. All of those come together in the pursuit of wisdom and virtue. And the school partners with families who are raising their children in the faith.
My children at Mount Tabor are learning about truth and beauty that's going to go with them for the rest of their lives. It's going to stick with them because it's so inside of them. They're learning what is good. They're learning what is true. They're learning what is beautiful.
We as an institution care about how the student is formed in his soul so that when he goes out to be a plumber or when he goes out to be a doctor or when he goes out to be whatever it is, he has this fullness about him as a human being that he's not going to get from plumbing school, and he's not going to get from med school, and he's not going to get from any of these other things that he might be involved in, because that's something that they're not even trying to do, right? They're focusing on the training of a skill, but it's sort of this bigger thing that we're looking at.
Wednesday is the center of the week, and it is our school liturgy day. So all of the students meet at St. Mary of Egypt Orthodox Church for a divine liturgy. They're there with their teachers, they're there with their classmates, and the purpose is to, one, of course, to worship, but also to learn to worship.
The children get to sing in the choir, and they get to serve at the altar, and they're reading the epistle. They're really participating in the service even more than they would on Sundays.
At Mount Tabor, it feels like every single teacher cares about my kids. It's palpable. You can tell that the teachers really care about their progress and about their emotional state and about how they behave in class, and it's just, I've never ever experienced that.
It's a school where the kids really get challenged. Each kid gets individual treatment to their needs, where they're at with their learning, where they are at emotionally, and where they're at spiritually. So it's very, very well-rounded.
There's a distinction between schooling and education. And what most people receive is what my spiritual father taught me as schooling, which is tending to the schedule, tending to the externals, tending to the gathering of information, but not the transformation of the soul.
Human, that's the word that keeps coming back. We want our children to become more human. And I believe that Mount Tabor is the place where my kids are truly becoming who they are. They're becoming more human, not little cyborgs, not little, machine-oriented children, but they're becoming themselves.
And the most important thing to me is that they know who God is and what the Orthodox Church is, and that they have that foundation that they can build anything on it.
Modern education is functionally atheistic. Teachers don't have to come out and say that God doesn't exist if every day students and teachers are required to act as if God does not exist. If I can get through a class without thanking God for what He's made, or if I can explain a subject or a concept without reference to the Creator, then I would say that I've missed something. I've missed something very important to what I'm teaching.
Before my kids went to Mount Tabor, I had just constant anxiety about school for my children. It was something that was in the back of my mind at all times. The education of my children, their safety, what are they going to do next year? In fact, it made me where I didn't really want to have any more children, to be honest, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to raise them the way they should be raised. And since Mount Tabor started, I had this relief, like, I can have more children. I want to have more children. I want to bring more children into this life that we have here. And we have had another baby, and I want to have more babies because I don't have that anxiety. I don't have that pressure, and I know that they can be raised right.
If you look at the examples of the saints and you look at their lives and how they led them, the way they were able to behave until the last moments of their lives. They've lost everything, and yet they remained human. They remained truly Christian. And I want that for myself, and I want that for my kids. And this is what they're getting at Mount Tabor School. They're getting this example of how to be human, how to be Christian in a modern world. So I am thrilled that this school exists and that I can send my kids there.
The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, and there is good understanding in all who practice it. Trust in God with all your heart, and do not exalt your own wisdom. In all your ways know wisdom, that she may cut a straight path for you, and your foot will not stumble. Do not rely on your own discernment, but fear God and turn away from every evil.